Okay, I'm going to play the music.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Coffee Break with Father Caparas. We are here today with Tom Piro, who is one of our seminarians from our diocese. And Father, would you like to open us up with a prayer?
Yes, let's begin with a prayer, and good afternoon, everyone. We're glad that you're able to join us today for another episode of Coffee Break. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen.
Amen.
And let us pray in particular for all of our seminarians, especially for Tom, who is our guest today, and seek the intercession of our Blessed Lady as we pray. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee.
Blessed art thou among women. Blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God,
pray for us sinners,
now and at the
now
end
and
of
at the
our
hour
death.
Our death.
Amen.
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 In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right. Thank you, Tom, for we have a special guest today. As Meryl said, we have Tom Piro, one of our seminarians here from the Diocese of Camden. And we were very thankful for Tom for agreeing to interview with us today. This is Vocation Awareness Month, and I thought that it would be appropriate for us to speak to one of our seminarians studying for the priesthood. So Tom, welcome to our coffee break, and we're so glad that you're here to join us. So Tom, tell us a little bit about yourself. So you are South Jersey native.
Yes, and thank you. Before I begin, thank you for having me on this. I love interviewing about vocations. I love talking about vocations. So about me, I am from South Jersey. I'm as South Jersey can get. I'm from a small town called Irma. And after telling people I'm from Irma, I realized most people don't know where Irma is. So as a reference point, I'm from Wildwood.
It's in Cape May County.
That's right, Cape May County, the bottom tip of Cape May County.
I'm also from Cape May County. I grew up in Ocean City.
Oh, okay, Ocean City. Okay, yeah.
Mm.
You're still further up there, though.
Yeah, we're like North Cape May County.
Yeah, you're the upper
Right.
township part. But so yeah, so I grew up there all my life. I'm the youngest of four. I have three siblings. I'm the youngest of four. I went to St. Anne's Regional School until they merged with Star of the Sea to form Cape Trinity. Then after Cape Trinity, I went to Wildwood Catholic High School and graduated in 2017. I'm currently in my fourth year, my senior year of college seminary up here at Seton Hall, Father Caparas' alma mater. And once again, thank you for allowing me to be here.
Yes, all right. So not only are you South Jersey native, you are, it sounds like you came into the seminary right out of high school.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
So how was that, Tom? You know, we certainly know of people going into the seminary maybe after they've gone through college, or maybe they've gone and find a job. How was that journey for you? Can you tell us a little bit about what led to you entering into seminary formation, and what led you to consider the priesthood at such a young age?
Yeah, so I would say I started thinking about the priesthood in the seminary seriously around when I was in 8th grade. While in 8th grade, I was preparing for confirmation. And while preparing for confirmation, I was told it's my responsibility to live out the faith. And part of that is having a vocation, responding to a vocation, a calling. How are you going to serve God and his people? And how are you going to serve in the church? And so the priesthood popped into my mind. And I kept that to myself, though. I didn't really want to share it with anybody because I was a bit embarrassed. Nobody else wanted to be a priest. Nobody's ever talked about it. So I kept that a secret. It was just between me, God, and Google. And so I entered high school. Went to Wildwood Catholic. It's my freshman year and everything's normal. I had my friends. I was involved in different activities. And I really enjoyed my time in high school, my freshman year. But then something happened, actually. I think it's the Holy Spirit working through his church, the Holy Spirit working through other people. when my pastor, Father Wallace, came up to me at like a fundraising event in the summer and asked me if I ever thought about becoming a priest. And like I was petrified of him at that point because I was like, how the heck did he find out? How the heck does he know? And all this is all that's coming through my mind. And I kind of wanted to say no. So like, my secret still be there. Nobody has to know anything. But then there was a part of me that was like, I have to say yes if I want to move on, if I actually want to respond to this calling. So instead, I decided to meet in the middle. And I said, sometimes. To which he said, that's great. I want you to meet this new priest, the new vocation director, who at the time was Father Romano. And so he introduced me to Father Romano when I was a sophomore, beginning of my sophomore year. And I met him and he started to invite me to different discernment groups, different dinners, different events, I-rays for vocations. And like I said, I kept it a secret. So Father Wallace really had to go out of his way and drive me to these things. And sort of like taking there because my parents didn't know that I was discerning. My siblings, my friends, nobody knew.
And this was in high school, Tom, right? You were a senior in high school when this is happening? Okay.
Yeah, this is like through my sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. So I fast forward to, my senior year. After going to these different events, these different dinners, Father Romano said to me in September, when he came to Wildwood Catholic for the Mass of the Holy Spirit, he said to me, all right, now's the time. Like, this is the year. Are you going to enter the seminary right out of high school? What's the plan? And I said, sure, I'll do it. I'll enter the seminary right out. I was like, what do I have to lose? He said, that's great. And then one day he calls me. He's like, so there's one little thing. You're 17
There's
years
always
old.
one little thing, isn't there?
Yeah, pretty much. All the time. There's always something.
There's always one little thing.
Never get away from it. But so he tells me there's one little thing, one little tiny thing. You're 17, which means you need your parents' signature. You need your parents' permission to apply for seminary. And I was like, I still haven't told my parents yet. So I was like in a bit of a predicament. So I just made a decision. I said, Father, bring the application to me in November and then I'll sign it when I'm 18.
How about that? Wow.
There we go. So I was like,
You
that's the
picked
plan.
the coward's way out. You didn't want to tell your parents.
No. I did not want to tell them. And then eventually I told my mom my first semester as a senior in high school. It was probably around November, October. I told her, and she was very supportive, very happy. But I did tell her, like, I want to live out my senior year like a normal student. I don't want to be labeled or anything like that, And I didn't want my dad to know because then he'll tell everybody. He's an Italian. He says whatever.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Tell everybody in a good way or a bad way?
It depends. When my sister was pregnant for the first time, she said, Dad, don't tell anybody yet. 2 days later, my aunt posted on Facebook, congratulations to my niece. She said, don't tell anybody. So it's a good thing. He likes to share things about his kids. He likes to talk about us to other people. So it's a good thing, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But so my mom respected that. And so I start the application process. And I did it all pretty much on my own. Somehow I tricked my dad actually to driving me up to Doylestown, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we need to get a psychological exam done. And Father Romano said, it's very long. Don't drive on your own. It takes up to like 8 hours. It's 2.5 hours away already from your house. So I told my mom, and I somehow convinced my dad that it was for a scholarship at Seton Hall. So I'm like,
Technically, you're not wrong.
Technically, I'm not wrong. It was to get to Seton Hall, but he found it very odd. Why are we going to Doylestown, Pennsylvania for Seton Hall University? So as I go there, I take the exam, we come back. Has no idea. Even though the sign outside the psychologist's office was a, excuse me, it said religious vocation center, something like that. So yeah, that was great.
Sometimes you don't believe what you see right in front of your eyes. No, that can't possibly be right.
That's true. So I eventually did all that, and then I was on vacation around March, and that's when I got the phone call from Father Romano saying, Bishop Sullivan reviewed your application, and he didn't get right to the point. He made a whole, Bishop Sullivan reviewed your application, vocation board met this morning at 10:30 a.m. We read everything. We
Typical
talked
Father
about
Romano.
you. Yeah, he's like, we talked. I'm like, okay, come on.
Right. Get to the point.
bishop has
Cut to the
accepted.
chase.
That's right.
So he says, the bishop has accepted you as a seminarian. So I'm like, that's great. This is wonderful. I know what I'm going to do right after high school. I don't have to worry about other application processes for the other universities. And as soon as I was about to hang up the phone, there was one little thing again.
I know.
Everywhere. There's always one little thing. He said, I don't want to see you at a discernment group until you tell your father that you have been accepted.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, Father, I'm scheduled to meet with you 2 days after I get back from my vacation. So it looks like I got to tell him pretty soon. So
But your mom already knew, right?
Yeah, so my
Yeah,
mom
yeah,
knew.
yeah.
She kept that a secret.
Ah, okay.
That was great that she respected that.
You know, that's very difficult for mothers to keep secrets from the fathers. It's very difficult. It's very stressful for us. You know,
Oh, yeah.
we can do it, but it's very stressful, especially as Italian mothers.
Well, my mother's very Irish.
Oh,
She was
okay.
an O'Malley.
She could keep a secret.
You can keep a secret, that's right. But so yeah, my mom actually got my letter because they were home. I was with a friend and the family, and she's the one that actually had the letter, and she gave it to me once I came in. I came in at like 11 o'clock at night from Florida. I open it, I read, I'm like, Dad, I got something for you to read. He reads it. What does this mean? I'm like, read it again.
Ah,
All right, dear Thomas. And he's like, oh, you're going to enter the seminary. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And he was very supportive of that. That decision.
was he surprised, or was he just like, okay, you know?
Yeah, so about that, to me, I say I kept it a secret. Apparently, I really didn't.
Ah,
Everybody knew that I was probably going to do this eventually in life. Even my
Wow.
friends in high school, none of them were
Really?
none of them were surprised at all. You know, so my dad wasn't, but he was very supportive of it and all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, so
No,
fast forward a few weeks.
I mean, that's amazing, and I think, you know, that's a testimony to you, Tom. But also, it's the reality is, you know, people can see qualities of a good priest, you know, and obviously your parents, your friends, they were not surprised because they saw that in you, and I think anyone who's listening to this show or watching us in this show, you know, if anyone had ever asked you, you know, have you thought about the priesthood, or I think you'd make a good priest, I think that's, you know, you should take that seriously. Don't you agree, Tom? I mean, if anyone is watching and you know, discerning a vocation, you know,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that? You know, maybe people who were your age, any thoughts or advice for them?
Yeah, I think if somebody tells you that you have the qualities to be a priest, or even they could see you being a priest, that's a big compliment. Because when you think about it, the priest is so active in the life of the church, of society. You know, the priest is with them from the very beginning at their baptism, and the priest is with them at the very end of their life at their funeral. Even when they're dead, he's still there. The priest is still present. He's there at the big moments, at the weddings, the funerals, graduations, even if you go to a Catholic school. So I think if somebody can recognize that in you, it's a big compliment, because they say, you seem like somebody that could lead the people, you know, be there for people in their good times and their bad times.
Right.
I think too that the Holy Spirit uses people, and you know, to send messages to us. You know, they come and say things that they don't necessarily, it's like, oh, I never really thought of that, and then all of a sudden it's coming out of my mouth. You would make a good priest. And then, sometimes you think, oh, I don't know. Where did that come from? I never really thought about that. But the Holy Spirit put those words in your mouth. And when you're not afraid to say those, he sends messengers, through our friends that way.
Yeah, that's so true. Because like I said, if Father Wallace didn't say anything to me, I don't know where I would be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it always comes to that, to that question. Have you ever thought of becoming a priest? Or I think you'd make a good priest. So Tom, before when you were telling us your story, you said that you were embarrassed and you didn't want to be labeled. So when your friends and when your family finally found out, okay, this is definitive, you're going into the seminary, you said they were not surprised, but can you share with us, like, what did they say to you? What were their reactions?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was really great for my family. My siblings, they were very supportive, all three of them. None of them were really surprised. My brother and his girlfriend were actually talking about me becoming a priest before. Yeah, they could see that happening. So when I told them, that's what they told me.
How about that?
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
sometimes we're the last ones to know, aren't we?
I know, that's exactly it. We're the last ones to know. But and even my friends, they're all very supportive of me. There's one person though who said, I can't really see you being a priest. There's always just that one person. I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what happens.
Was that a girl?
No, I don't. Yeah, it was actually. It was a girl.
There might be an ulterior motive there, but anyway.
That's right. No, you don't want to do that.
No, I doubt that. But yeah, so they were all very supportive. But when it came out that I was going to be entering the seminary, even she was very supportive, very happy for me.
Sure,
and to me, it just spoke like, don't be afraid. Like, people have thoughts already, but you're following the Lord.
Yeah.
And there's no greater thing than that.
And as you've said too, Tom, I mean, earlier on, that what have you got to lose? You come into the seminary and, and I had in my days in the seminary, there were guys who left and they realized that this was not for them. But then coming out, they realized, well, being in the seminary made me a better man, made me a better person. And so therefore it's made me a better father. It made me a better husband. And I've seen that over and over again, guys who've gone to the seminary, they're outstanding husbands and outstanding fathers, and maybe that's where the Lord needed them at that time, because those same fathers could be the ones who would foster vocations in their own home,
Right.
So you're absolutely right. There's nothing to lose.
Yeah, that's so true, because I think of my class when I was a freshman, there was 8 of us.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's only 2 people from the original class. But
right.
We also develop friendships that still last. Even after they leave seminary, we still talk, we still get together, we still have classes together sometimes.
Right.
And one of them actually entered like campus ministry. There's an organization called St. Paul's Outreach. And I was having lunch with him one day, an ex-seminarian who's now part of that ministry. And another guy came downstairs that he lives with during lunch. And he said, like, man, we need more priests like you or something. And I was like, well, maybe you should consider it. He's like, no, I think I'm good. I'm like, that's good too. Maybe your son can be a priest then.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah. So Tom, tell us a little bit about where you are. I guess you're in your room in the seminary, and
I am in my room.
What's life like in the seminary? You said you're going to Seton Hall, and you're in the seminary program. What's life like as a seminarian? Just to give us a snapshot of what it's like being in the seminary.
Yeah, so I'll give you a quick snapshot of like a typical day. Usually we start our day with prayer, with morning prayer from Liturgy of the Hours, 15-minute meditation, and then we have Mass. And that takes place from like 6:45 to like 8 o'clock in the morning. And then pretty much from 8 o'clock to like 5:15, that's when you have like your classes at the university at Seton Hall. And you're not just taking theology classes. A big thing for our studies is philosophy and theology. But also we need to take our math, as much as some of us may not like math. We have to take our science, even though people like me do not like science, but we got to take English, different electives. And it's nice that we're here at Seton Hall because we get outside of like the seminary culture, where like we can actually interact with normal students, I guess.
Right, regular students, yeah.
Yeah,
Regular
regular
students,
students.
that's it. Regular
Mhm.
students.
You can be a good example to them too.
Yeah, exactly. And like,
Right.
you really get to have conversations. Like in one of my English classes, I was talking to a guy who left the church actually when he was in high school. And, you know, he was talking about like getting back into it. Now he's at Seton Hall. There's a chapel right there. And I was encouraging him. And now he goes to mass every Sunday. And other guys here serve as the examples too in those classes, and English courses, math courses. And that's great. But another part of our day is meetings. So we have formation meetings with a formation advisor who really helps us along the way, challenges us to grow. And he's always there to talk to us. It's usually a faculty member here at the seminary. And then we all have to see a house psychiatrist and talk to him, as well as a spiritual director who is a priest on faculty here at the seminary as well. And
Well,
that's
you
like
better
every
get
few-
used. You better get used to meetings, Tom. There's tons of meetings every time when you're a priest.
I
Yeah.
believe it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, but we don't have as many as you guys. We have one meeting with our advisor every 3 weeks. But yeah, so usually that can happen throughout the day. You can go to the gym, do different activities. If your afternoon is free, you can go out to lunch, you can go to the driving range. Like I do that sometimes if I'm free, catch up on work. And 5:15, we meet again for evening prayer, which also comes from the Liturgy of the Hours.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, we'll have dinner. Sometimes we have mandatory dinners at the seminary for community purposes, or other times you're free to go out. And usually we stay together though. We'll go to the cafeteria on campus or out to a restaurant. And then there's more time for study or do anything else that you enjoy doing. And then we normally end the day at 9:30 with night prayer, also from the Liturgy of the Hours.
Yes. Well, that's good. I certainly remember, the regimen in the seminary when I was at in the college seminary program. In fact, Tom, you and I have one thing in common too, is that I went through the college seminary program where you're at. Now, I'm not quite sure if you're in the same room that I was in, but probably not. But
I'm upstairs.
You're upstairs. I was upstairs too at one point, but we certainly lived at the same house. So yeah, it sounds like you have a pretty busy schedule as a seminarian, and your different formation programs and education programs. So you said you're a senior now, Tom. So what happens now after you've completed your program in the college seminary? What's the next step?
So after I receive my diploma and shake Cardinal Tobin's hand, I'll be sent off to the major seminary, which is a bit more intense than the college. It's a lot more geared towards priesthood. Right now, you see I'm wearing like a shirt and tie. I'm usually dressed up like a Mormon, like most college seminarians. But then you have some seminarians who wear actual clerics. They wear the Roman collar. And that's what they wear at the major seminary. And that's where they really focus more so on theological studies and really focus on the pastoral formation, how to interact with people, life in the parish, following a priest around. During summer months, you receive assignments. You're not free anymore to go to the beach 7 days a week.
Only on your day off.
Only on your day off, your day and a half off.
That's right.
Who knows? You might end up here in my parish.
That's
Maybe
right.
I might be there. I wouldn't mind it. I was just there 2 weeks ago.
We've had
ordination.
deacons here. We had Father Ed Kennedy was here for his diaconate year. He spent time with us. So
Okay.
we've had other seminarians that came and helped with different things too.
Mhm. Yeah, that's great. It's great to have a seminarian, I think, around in the parish.
Mhm.
Yes,
You
it
know,
is. Yes, it
it's good.
is.
Yeah, so that's really what the major seminary focuses on for the most part.
Mhm.
It's a bit
Okay.
more intense and all that.
And all of that, yeah, and it's more of the graduate equivalent of the seminary. Where are we sending our major seminarians these days, Tom?
So we have 3 major seminaries that we send to. Right here, Immaculate Conception Seminary at Seton Hall. And then St. Joseph's Seminary in Dunwoody, New York. It's Bishop
Mhm.
Sullivan's alma mater.
Right.
So I wonder why we send to New York. That's great. We have 2 guys over there actually up in New York.
Mhm.
And then the North American College in Rome,
Mhm.
where I think we have 1 guy, and Father Peter Gallagher is there.
Yes,
Further studies.
for further studies. I guess you wouldn't have any idea where you're going, or do you have any say in that whatsoever?
No,
No.
I think it's just Bishop Sullivan would like to send you here.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, you have to get used to that too, Tom, because your priesthood is going to be like that. Bishop Sullivan wants to send you here, and you're going to hear that more often than not.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know?
and that's good. I think it's a good practice for that
Yeah.
promise of obedience.
That's right. That's right. I mean, eventually, as you progress in the priesthood and you have seniority, then yeah, you definitely would have a little bit more of a say. But when you're just beginning, that's usually, you go where you're sent, and that's in any profession. I mean, in the military, that's the way it works. In entry level positions, that's the way it works. So it's no different in the priesthood.
Yeah. It's a good thing though, too, because I think sometimes we get bogged down in decisions. And if you don't have to, there's a certain freedom in not having to decide, just saying, okay, I'll go there. That's where you want.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll go there.
Exactly. Well, one of the things, Tom, that I know in my own priesthood is that I usually end up going to the last place I thought I was going to go. And yet,
that's how you got here.
Yeah. But and yet I have to tell you, everywhere I have gone, whether it's a challenging assignment or a pretty steady assignment, so to speak, I've always learned something, and I've always grown, and I've always made great relationships. God has always blessed me with great relationships and just the ability to be able to make a difference in people's lives. So in other words, God will never disappoint you, wherever he sends you.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So Tom, it's great that thank you for joining us today. I'm sure that we can spend all day, another couple of hours or more just kind of asking you questions. But I do know that there will probably be people watching this video who are discerning the priesthood. So what's your advice to them, especially maybe those guys who are in high school or college? What's your advice to them if they're thinking about the priesthood and maybe like you, they feel embarrassed or they don't, they're a little bit reluctant. Any final last thoughts for them, Tom?
Yeah, definitely. Really just develop a relationship with Jesus Christ. Really get into a rhythm of prayer, talking to the Lord and being yourself in front of him, because there's nothing that we can hide from him. And if somebody says, have you ever thought about the priesthood? Really take that to heart. Take that to prayer. And don't do what I started doing with this internet discernment. You need to talk to a priest, your pastor, or call Father Adam, our vocation director. He's always willing to talk to guys who are discerning, always reaching out to them, checking in on them, seeing how they're doing. And he's such a great priest. He's up here actually at Seton Hall visiting us. And he's a real example of what it means to have a priestly heart and to be a father. And definitely talk to Father Caparas. He's a great priest.
Thank you, Tom. No, thank you for those. Yes, thanks for the shout out and thank you for your encouraging words. And definitely, Tom, we will be saying a special prayer for you and all of our seminarians as you continue in your priestly formation. I know that, I've been where you're at, and there are good days and there are challenging days, so definitely continue to persevere and thank you for sharing with us your journey, your amazing story. And best
Thanks
of luck
for being with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for letting us get to know you. It's really been a pleasure to get to know you. So.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
I'm sure we'll be seeing you around, Tom.
Yeah.
So before we close, everyone, if you do have any particular questions that you want to ask Tom, you can certainly send your email, or you can contact us here at the parish, and we can get your message to Tom. And if you or anyone have thought about the priesthood and need further directions, we can certainly help with that. And I'm sure Tom would be more than willing to speak with that young man who might be thinking about the priesthood. So next week, folks, we will have a regular show. It's going to be the day before Thanksgiving, so we will have our Thanksgiving special. So stay tuned to that. And this coming weekend, which is November the 21st and 22nd, we are going to be giving out blessed bread at all of our masses, compliments of Lycio's Bakery. So if you come to Mass, you get a nice loaf of bread that you can take home with you. So let's close with a prayer, and I'll give everyone a blessing, and we will sign off and say our farewell to Tom for now. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And we ask God's continued blessings on Tom and all of our seminarians. May the Lord strengthen them, and may the Lord form them according to his heart. And let us pray. Hail, Holy Queen, Mother of Mercy, our life, our sweetness, and our hope. To thee do we cry, for banished children of Eve. To thee do we send up our sighs,
mourning and weeping in this valley of tears.
Turn then,
most
most
gracious advocate, thine eyes of mercy
toward us, and after this our exile,
show unto us
the blessed fruit of thy womb, Jesus. O clement, O loving, O sweet Virgin Mary, pray for us, O Holy Mother of God, that we may be made
worthy of the promises of Christ.
And may the blessing of Almighty God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit come down on you and remain with you forever.
Amen.
All right, have a good day, everyone, and thanks for joining us.